Today I'm going to share with you how my marriage ended, how it happened, and things to look out for. Those of you who's never been married before, looking to get married in the future, this video is going to be for you so you can learn some things and be careful. Make sure you look for the red flags. Make sure you aware of who you're marrying before you get married. Let's just go fast. I'm gonna skip some parts, but I'm just gonna give you the key, the things that you need before you get married to someone. What happened in my marriage? What happened? I met this girl. At the time I met her, she was 20, I believe she was 25. She was 25, I was 29. I met her in 2017. We did it for 2 years. By 2019, we decided to get married. I proposed to her and we got married in September 21st, 2019. Before we got married, we've had some ups and downs. We've had a bunch of red flags. We've had arguments. We've had, disagreements. It was unhealthy to begin with. Now, I believe in God. I believe in Jesus. I am a Christian. But family pressure was involved. Christianity was involved. And friends and people were forcing us to get married. But it wasn't something that was healthy to begin with. I wasn't aware that it was unhealthy until it was too late. But I proceeded and proposed to her early 2019. So we got married. By the way, she was Womanian. Those of you who know Womanian community, she's Womanian. Womanian community is a little bit different than American, different than my culture where I'm from. So of course, we've had some ups and downs when it comes to differences. We got married 2019. But at first, I thought the family and her, they were friendly, everything was going to be okay. Everything was going to be great. We were going to have a good life together, have kids. But I never saw the bad side. I've never saw the danger. I've never saw the betrayal. I've never saw them coming. We got married 2019, September. We got married, we went to Cancun, Mexico. We had some good honeymoon time and everything was great. When we got back, of course, after your honeymoon, you get back with your spouse and you start living a life, right? Now, it started to get complicated in the first month of marriage. It started to get complicated. So the first month of marriage, it started to be extremely hard. We started arguing. We argue almost every day over the simplest thing. She always wanted me to go to her families. Her families always want to know what's going on in the marriage. She would take information from the house and give it to her family. Anything that happens in the house, her family knows about it. It doesn't matter. Whatever happens in the house, she shares everything to her family members. This is very dangerous, my friend. If you're in a relationship with someone or you're married to someone and the person constantly sharing information to family members and friends, things that should be kept secret between both of you, if she or he decide to do that, my friend, is dangerous. It was very stressed and toxic. Knowing that I'm married to someone, the person now taking information and share with family members, but also sharing information to her little sister. She was very close to her little sister. She was 19 at the time. She's way older than her, but she was taking advice from her little sister. She would get information from her little sister. So she would tell her little sister what's going on in the house. We argue, yeah. I'm not gonna lie. We've had a lot of fights, verbal fights. We've had some big arguments, some big disagreements. The marriage was incompatible. The marriage was going down the drain. I didn't tell anybody about this because I believe that when you get married to someone, you're supposed to fix whatever happens in the family. You're supposed to fix the problem between you and your spouse. Information was being shared to family members every day. I wasn't happy about it. It became a problem. So one night we've had into a big argument over the issue. I told her, I said, you cannot share information to your family. Fast forward, one night We've had into big arguments, big issues. We're yelling and screaming. It was so bad one night, the police was called. I don't know who called the police, but the cops came in. We were staying in the apartment in Vancouver. Police came in. They pulled me on the side. They pulled her on the side, and they say, what happened? We got called. There's turbulence going on here. So the cops came in and spoke to her. She started crying. That night, I was surprised they didn't arrest me that night, because she started crying. As soon as the cop, come in, she started crying. So the police spoke to her, and she said that, yeah, we were fighting, arguments and blah, blah, blah. I've never put hands on her. I've never touched that woman. So that night, the police told me, they said, okay, we're going to leave you guys. We're going to go. Just a warning. If we get called again, somebody is going to go to jail. You guys should keep the peace. I said, okay, officer, appreciate that. Okay, the officer left. Within a few days again, a week, we started fighting again. Verbal fights, arguments, slamming doors, and not agreeing with things. I mean, it was bad. It happens in marriages, where there's arguments, there's fights, there's disagreements, but not like that. Not like that. After 5 months of the marriage, February 2020, things got worse. I woke up at 5 a.m. to go to work. I've noticed that she didn't wake up to go to work. And the next day, she decided not to go to work because she said, no, I'm not going to work. I said, okay, I was going to go to work that day. I canceled. I called my company. I said, I cannot make it to work because I have an emergency. About 10 a.m. that day, we got into an argument again. I decided not to go to work because I wanted to stay with her, make her feel better that day. So I went in the kitchen cooking. I've noticed that she's on the phone telling her little sister that we argued the night before, we slammed the door, we were angry. I was mad. I was actually mad. So I opened the door. I attempt to grab the phone from her to see the text messages. When I grabbed the phone from her, I looked on the phone and I saw that she was telling her little sister, we argued the night before, this man is this man is that. And her little sister replied to her, well, if that's the case, then don't wash clothes for him, don't cook for him, don't do anything for him. Just do things for yourself and leave him alone. That's what her little sister was telling her. My wife, I married to, she was 26 at that time, or 27. Her 19-year-old was telling her how to treat me in the house. Oh, when I saw the text, I was angry. I was mad. I decided to pack my bags and leave. When I saw that text, she didn't want me to see the text. So what happened, she grabbed my phone and she called 911. She called the cops and she said, can somebody come here, please? They said, okay, all right, what happened? He said, yeah, this man is mad, he's frustrated, and I'm scared. So the police came in, right? Now, you need to understand this. It's the same police officer who told me the last time, if we get called again, someone's gonna go to jail. It's the same police officer who showed up with two other guys outside. So I was outside talking to the officer. He said, what happened? I said, well, we've been arguing here for months. It's like there's no peace in this marriage, and we argue a lot. We got verbal fights, and this is not working for me. I don't know what to do. The officer said, okay, I get it. Okay, let's see what the other officer is gonna say when it comes out done talking. Now the officer came back out, and the officer said, put your hand behind your back. You're getting arrested because she got bruises on her arms. I said, bruises on her arms? I said, I never bruised that girl. I've never put hands on her. I don't know what you're talking about. He said, yeah, she got bruises on her arms. So therefore, you're coming with us. So they just put me on the wall. They handcuffed me and stuff like that. And I got arrested that day. That was in 2020. It happened 2020, February 13th, 2020. Yeah, they took me in. They said, yeah, you're going in for domestic violence, and there's evidence she got bruises on her arms. Now, I don't know how she got the bruises on her arms. God in heaven is watching me right now. I don't know. how she got the bruises on her arms. I got arrested in 2 days being locked up. The next day I had to go to court. Before I went to court that day, while I was in jail, I decided to call her phone. So I called her phone and she picked up and I said, hi. She said, hi. Anyone who's been arrested before, they know when you're talking on those phones, they're listening to everything you say. So I called the phone. I said, one thing I got to tell you right now is, do you know that what you've done here is not just going to hurt me, though. It's going to hurt both of us. Do you know that, right? So I was referring that to what just happened here. It's just going to hurt both of us. It's going to hurt our marriage. It's going to hurt us. It's going to hurt our family members. It's going to hurt everything. People who came to the wedding, family members who supported us. Do you know it's going to hurt both of us? Do you know that, right? And she hung up the phone on me. She hung up the phone on me. And I called her again. She didn't pick up the phone. She didn't want to pick up my call because I was locked up. I'm in jail. I'm locked up. So therefore, she's not interested in trying to, listen to what I have to say. But little did I know that she called the county. She called the court. She called the court and the prosecutor. She said, this man is in jail. He's threatened me. He called me, threatened me. He's tracking me. I'm scared. Please, this man should be locked up. He should not be released. He called me from the court and threatened me. God knows I wasn't threatening her. I said, what you did is not just going to hurt me. It's going to hurt both of us. It's going to hurt you too. You know that, right? She took it as a threat. Her family called the court. She called, but her family called the court and said that this man, he's threatened my daughter. He's a dangerous man, tracking her. And she's scared. This man should not be released. Now, the prosecutor wrote everything the family said. Now, I went to court. I appeared before the judge. And the judge goes like this. Mr. Sainville, you've been charged for domestic violence. There is evidence. She got bruises on her. So, Mr. Prosecutor, what would you have to say in this case? The prosecutor comes in like this. Mr. Honor, the family called and they said that this man called her while he was in here, threatened her. She's scared. Maybe he's tracking her. This man is dangerous. This man should not be released. That's what the prosecutor told the judge while I was standing there in court. This man should not be released. The judge says, okay, I get it. The judge looks at me and I was surprised. I was surprised what the judge said. The judge looks at me and said, Mr. Sainville, if we release you today, do you have somewhere to go? I said, yes, I do have somewhere to go. So the judge knew it was a lie. He says, okay, you shall be released with a $1,000 bond. But the bail bond was next door, next on the streets where I was locked up in. So they swiped my credit card and they bailed me out. When I got out, I went straight to a library to kind of get signal, whatever. Because when I turn on my phone, my friend, this is when things get excited. Now, not only her family, herself, called the courts and told them that I was dangerous and should not be released, should stay locked up, should not be released, should be locked up and never get out. This man is dangerous. Not only they did that, my friend, I got out of jail after 2.5 days of being arrested. I checked my phone. My phone was disconnected. My phone was disconnected. I checked my bank account to see if there's, if I can use some money because I got my card to get by, get a taxi, whatever. My friend, the bank account that we had joined together, because when we got married, my friend, we got joint accounts together, bank accounts. So which means my checks, her checks was coming in when we go to work. We also had the same phone line. We had Sprint. We had Sprint phone together. When I got out, my friend, when I got out of jail, 2.5 days, my bank account was empty. The phone line was disconnected. It's only going to get worse. You're about to know what they've done behind my back in 2.5 days. Now, they actually thought that I was going to be in there and never get out. So therefore, they took everything. Not just her family members. I'm going to tell you exactly what they did. They actually, it gets even more interesting. I went to Sprint. I said, Sprint, what happened? Why my phone disconnected? Why you guys disconnected my phone? And Sprint said, somebody called. Somebody that you had. The Sprint said, somebody called and said that the phone is stolen. Somebody stole the phone. So we put a lock on the phone. That's what Sprint told me. So she called Sprint. And she told Sprint that the phone's stolen. So therefore they disconnected my phone line. And not only that, I went to Chase, because we had Chase bank account together. I went to Chase. I told Chase, I says, there's no money on the account. I can't use money. I can't do nothing. I'm out here. I can't even go back to the apartment because now I have a no contact order, which I cannot see her, talk to her, call her, even ask her what happened. I can't do none of these things. Chase said, well, I guess your spouse just switched all the money to a different account. I was shocked. I was shocked to see that within 2.5 days, I was locked up. The wife that I married to, instead of her supporting me, instead of her being there for me, she was against me. So bank account was empty. My phone line was disconnected. It reported to Sprint that the phone was stolen. Told the judge not to release me because I'm dangerous, to lock me in there forever. That's what they told him. They told the court. My friend, I decided to go in the apartment because I've heard that she doesn't stay in the apartment anymore. So I went to the apartment where I got arrested. My friend, I'm not making this up. The apartment was empty. Not only the apartment was empty, but she was managed to take her name off the lease very quickly. That she took her name off the lease. I don't know how she did it. Like I said before, there's a system here in America which I don't understand how some people can go around and can do anything. I don't know. It's just probably because they're white. They can do whatever they want. If that was me, I wouldn't be able to do all these things fast. If that was me, I wouldn't be able to switch the money from the account without her. If that was me, I wouldn't be able to disconnect the phone line. I wouldn't be able to take my name off a lease I have with someone. I wouldn't be able to do that. But she was able to do that, my friend. And she was white. She was Romanian, but she was white. Okay? So this is how you know how the system works. And she was able to take everything away from the apartment. Everything. Couch, furniture, dinner tables. Everything was taken out. Everything was taken out. The apartment was empty. I was shocked because they thought that I wasn't going to get out. They thought they just had buried me in jail, in prison, so I'll never get out. Kick him to the curb for him to die in prison. It's basically what they've done. Okay. Fast forward, while we still had a no contact order, but we were still seeing each other. I went to my work a few days later and told him that I was arrested. I just got out. So I spoke to my boss. My boss called me in the office and he was like, let me talk to you for a minute. Sat down with my boss and my boss was like, are you okay? I said, I'm okay. Your wife called and told us that you got arrested, right? The way she called my job and told him that I was arrested was evil. She called my boss and said that, oh, This man got arrested for domestic violence, and I don't think he's gonna get out. My boss says, okay, all right, well, thanks for telling us. And my boss told me that. My boss said that, be careful, man. Be careful. You're a good guy. You've been working here for the company for 5 years. And be careful. He said, the way she told me that, that was not in your favor at all. Basically, he said that I should fire you right now. But I'm not going to, because that's not who you are. You are a good guy. And my boss said that, okay, it's what I'm going to do for you. You're going to stay overtime to help you get back on your feet. I told my boss, I said, man, thanks so much, man. You appreciate it, and God bless you. So I had to work overtime for a few weeks, for a month, to save enough money to buy a little bit of furniture for the apartment, to pay the rent. It was tough for me. Someone you married to, man, you married to her. And when you get married to someone, is in the richer and the poor, and the sickness and the health, and the good and the bad, and the beautiful and the ugly. The person wasn't doing that. I was doing that. And I'm going to tell you exactly what I did. My friend, within a month or two, I have a little bit of money, got furniture and an apartment. And then I decided to start my own business. I was like, okay, if I'm in a situation like this, I cannot do paycheck to paycheck. I need to come with something. I need to start my own business. That was in March 2020, during COVID, my friend, during the pandemic. This thing happened during COVID. It was tough. Everything was started to shut down. My company started to lay people off. I mean, it was bad. I decided to save up money. I bought a truck. I bought a pickup truck. So I started to get back on my feet, right? I was all by myself. She wasn't there. She took everything away from me. She stole everything away. So I was by myself. I had to work overtime, 16 hours a day for the whole month, every day, to get back on my feet. But as soon as she saw that I started getting back on my feet, I have a little business going on. Now she wanted to come back into my life. I'm not making this up. It's true. And you call yourself Christian. You guys go to church. You worship God, worship Jesus. Man, who's Jesus you worshiping? Who's God you worshiping? Who's that guy? I like to see the God that you're worshiping, not the one I'm worshiping. Because there's no way you're worshiping the true God and you're going to do such a thing. You're going to try to bury someone in prison. Took everything away from them. I mean, where is Christ? Where is Jesus? My friend, he wasn't there. Jesus wasn't there. Jesus was there for me because he protected me from all these. My friend, she wanted to come back because, of course, right now my life is, start to boom and, things start to work out. So, of course, now she wants to come back and be a wife. So I decided to get a house with her. I told her, I said, forget what happened. Let's fix the issue. My friend, I decided to get back with my wife. I decided to forgive and forget about it. My friend, I bypassed that. I bypassed everything they've done. And we decided to get a house together. But anyway, we moved in and they bring you home. Like I said before, we're still having no contact order. We're still dealing with the courts. My plan was to work my marriage. My plan was to fix it. So one night, we started arguing again in the house. And what happened was shocking. She, in the middle of the argument, she called the same little sister who caused the pains. And they were screaming and yelling, slamming doors again, my friend. After everything I went through. And guess what the little sister did? She called 911. My friend, they came here with 10 police cars. They came with dogs. They came with rifle, like big guns. I'm talking about automatic weapons. My friend, the police came in and knocked on the door, boom, boom, boom. And my friend, what happened was shocking. They came in, I opened the door. They said, yeah, step out here for a minute, right now. I said, what? This is my house. I just moved here. You say, you're not supposed to be with the victim. I said, who called you? We can't tell you that, but you're not supposed to be with the victim. You have a no contact order. So they went upstairs and they found her in there. Like, that's enough proof. Enough proof is you have a no contact order. You just stay away from them, 500 feet away. Now I got arrested for no contact order again. So at this point, my friend, I had to put an end to the marriage. I had to say enough is enough, because at this point, it's not healthy. It's toxic. I went to jail. I went to jail again for no contact order, and the same judge told me again. He says, "Dude, I told you to stay away from Monica." So basically, the judge ordered me to get released the same day. The judge released me with no bond. So at this point, my friend, I had to make a decision that the marriage is not working. So finally, my friend, it was toxic. It was bad. I felt betrayed. I was betrayed by someone I thought was my wife, but instead, she was a vampire. Now, the lesson I took from the whole thing happening is never allow family members to convince you to get married. Always make sure she's compatible with you and you guys are on the same page. And always make sure she or he will support you no matter what happens, in the good and the bad, and the richer and the poor, and the sickness and the health, and the beautiful and the ugly. Make sure the person will always be there for you no matter what happens. So you take care now. This is my experience. So those of you who have never been married before, be careful who you marry into. And right now, I'm picking little pieces and putting myself back together. Make sure to learn my lesson. But God Almighty put me back. God Almighty picked me back and put me back on my feet. And now I'm stronger than ever before.